Greetings, everybody, and welcome to what is sure to be another controversy video. But before I begin that, I just wanted to say in the past few weeks how somewhat depressed and saddened I have been over the senseless slaughter of those 20 children in Connecticut, as well as the 6 relatively young adults that were also killed. My heart goes out to the surviving friends and family, especially the mothers and fathers of those children who now have to live the remainder of their lives with a massively broken heart that could never be mended. It's just a senseless tragedy, and I often ask myself, how did our society get so sick from the time when I was a kid to now? How did it get so sick? And there just isn't any answer to it. But this is precisely the reason why I didn't mention anything about this in the previous videos that I did leading up to the Christmas holiday, because Christmas is supposed to be a festive season, and I didn't want to dampen it for people that didn't who wanted to be able to celebrate it without any of the sadness of that tragedy involved. But anyway, let's try to move beyond that right now and get into the video that I wanted to do. And let's imagine ourselves in Peabody's Wayback Machine, and we are going back to 1963, and the Silver Age of comic books is well underway. And not only is it the Silver Age, but it is also the Marvel Age of comics. And Stan Lee introduces us to a new character called the Watcher in FF13 with a cover date of April 1963. The Watcher is a galactic being, if you will, and a member of a highly technologically and physiologically advanced civilization, an alien race. His name is, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is Ua-2. And oh, by the way, his name was not. They didn't even have a name for him until about 11 or 12 years after this comic book was published. They came up with a name during the Bronze Age in the Volume 1 of Captain Marvel, and I can't remember what issue it was, but I think it was in the 30s numbering of that first volume of Captain Marvel. But anyway, his name is Ua-2, and he's the first Watcher of Earth, set with the task of keeping a watchful eye on the evolutionary technological progress of mankind, making certain not to interfere in the affairs of man. However, in this issue, he does just that. He does interfere by keeping the current conflict between the Communist East, represented by the Red Ghost, and the democratized West, represented by Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four, restricted to the moon because of man's very destructive and warlike nature. He decides to keep that conflict restricted to the moon. And in the end, Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four win the day, and democracy rules. But the Watcher, who resides on the moon, now has to find a new place from which he can observe and record, because obviously man has now reached the moon and he's no longer able to stay there. And that is basically the tale as far as the Watcher is concerned in this issue. Oh, by the way, did you know that the Watcher's home planet is a gigantic computer? One massive, gigantic galactic computer. Talk about the stuff of science fiction. In this case, it's more fiction than science. But let's go back into the Wayback Machine. And this time, we go forward to 1964. And it is the year of the British music invasion led by the Beatles, and I just want to show you some of the 45s I have from that year. Original 45s. Swan Records. Capitol Records. This is a rare copy of the Beatles 4x4 from Capitol. But yeah, the year of the British music invasion led by the Beatles. And Stan Lee introduces us to the origin story of the Watcher. Stan Lee plots it. His brother Larry Lieber writes the script and also does the artwork. And we have the origin story appearing in Tales of Suspense number 53 with a cover date of May 1964. And this is also the second appearance of the Black Widow. We'll take a look at her her netted hat, her high heel shoes. Can't really see them here. And she's shooting out some kind of a hoodoo mumbo jumbo from her hands. But yeah, getting back to the origin story. In this origin story, the Watcher and his people, they lived in these beautiful floating cities above the planet, and besides having achieved great technological advances, they have also discovered the secret to immortality, and they keep themselves immortal by bathing in these cosmic beta rays. And they sought to share their knowledge with inferior, less fortunate races of beings, but eventually they have discovered that the sharing of that advanced knowledge has led to war and destruction and the near annihilation of entire civilizations. And the survivors of those civilizations blame the Watcher's people for having for the things that have happened to them. And the Watchers, of course, only meant for that knowledge to be used for peaceful purposes, but of course they realize they are responsible for what has happened, and they thus have become a race of Watchers observing and recording. And that is basically the short origin tale of the Watcher in Tales of Suspense number 53. And that is basically the beginning and the end of it, as far as Marvel would have us believe. But, however, a full 3 years earlier, prior to the first appearance of the Watcher in Fantastic Four number 13, and the full 4 years earlier, prior to the origin story in Tales of Suspense number 53, we have in a publication by Charlton with a cover date of in a comic book series called Mysteries of Unexplored Worlds, with a cover date of I think it's May. Hold on here. Let me see here. Yes, it's May of 1960. In a story called The Forbidden Formula, a character making his appearance whose name is, wait for it, the Watcher. But, you know, so as we have seen with the Man-Thing, Swamp-Thing, and the Golden Age Sheep, as with Spider-Man and the Fly, and I haven't even gotten into that yet, what I see here, or what I suspect, is the willful and deliberate purloining of purloining practices being employed by the House of Ideas, or in this case, more appropriately, the house of someone else's ideas, because in this story, The Forbidden Formula, it's basically the story of one of billions of watchers, 900 billion watchers, and each watcher is assigned to a planet throughout the entire Milky Way galaxy. But the one watcher that we're concerned with here is assigned to planet Earth, and he is set with the task of keeping a watchful eye on the technological progress of mankind, observing and watching, making certain that a specific formula is not developed or is not discovered that can lead to the development of weapons that would be able to destroy not only entire planets but solar systems, and this could spread throughout the entire galaxy. So it is his job to make certain that we don't discover any formulas like that that can lead to the development of such destructive weapons. The only difference that I see between the Charlton Watcher and the Marvel Watcher is that the Marvel Watcher is not supposed to interfere in the affairs of man, but somehow, on many occasions, does. And the Charlton Watcher, which makes more sense to me, is supposed to interfere to prevent these destructive forces from being created. Now, for people to admit that there are similarities, but to throw them into the dustbin of coincidence, to me, is ludicrous. And for individuals to deny any correlation between the two characters, the one from Charlton and the other from Marvel, is to me just the wasteful use of what should be an intelligent mind. I have rolled this around in my head for some time, and I thought that, is it possible that that Stan Lee, the Lieber brothers, possibly purchased the rights to this character? But then if Marvel did purchase the rights to these characters from Charlton, then why in the world would Stan Lee take credit for its creation when he had nothing to do with the creation of the Watcher? So I have a tendency to believe that they engaged in or I suspect that they engaged in purloining activities and just purloined it from, so to speak, from the Charlton Company. Now, besides, I'm going to try to show you some similarities inside these books. So bear with me for a moment. This is Tales of Suspense number 53 from 1964. And take a look at that word balloon there. My brain is so advanced, my store of knowledge so vast. And just those words there. And take a look at the Watchers. I mean, you know, I don't know what their races are actually called, but we refer to them as the race of Watchers now. And here is the Charlton version of the Watcher. And in that bottom word balloon, some similar sentences to those that I just showed you in Tales of Suspense. Your highly developed mind is geared to receive all knowledge of the inhabitants of Earth. So they have similar powers, if not blatantly the same powers. And look at, they all have the large heads that are, well, bald large heads without hair. Ein Kopf, without hair. And they're wearing these gowns with the high collars. This is from Charlton. And this is from Marvel. I mean, the similarities are too great to be dismissed. There is certainly some kind of connection going on here. There has to be a connection going on here. Now, the problem is we don't know who actually did the writing for this story. A lot of people have a tendency to believe that it was Bill Fraccio who went largely unrecognized and did not receive any credit for the work that he did during the Silver Age. And he's mostly known today, Bill Fraccio, for the work that he did at Warren Publications, mainly on Eerie and Creepy, and possibly Vampirella, but I don't know about that one for sure. And as far as the artwork goes, we don't know who did the artwork either, but to me it's kind of Steve Ditko-ish. It's not Steve Ditko that did the artwork, but somebody that was certainly inspired by Steve Ditko, I believe. Take a look at this panel down here. This is the Charlton comic. Now take a look at this panel here and this character. This is the Watcher in human form. Now doesn't that look like a Steve Ditko Peter Parker somewhat? And over here in this panel, doesn't it look like perhaps a Harry Osborn? A Steve Ditko Harry Osborn? I don't know. And the curious thing is that the following issue number, this is 18, issue 19 had stories in their artwork by Steve Ditko. So, but at any rate, for my money, what I suspect is that the Lieber brothers got the idea for their Watcher from this issue of Charlton Comics, Mysteries of Unexplored Worlds, number 18 from May of 1960. I mean, a full 3 years before the Watcher's first appearance in the FF13, and a full 4 years before the Watcher's origin story in Tales of Suspense 53. I don't know what else to say, because I, tried to take some notes, and I wanted to take some notes to see if I could talk about some other things that might have been going on here. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that no, those are things that could not have been going on here. I mean, to me, it's no accident that there are two Watchers, and that the first Watcher was done 3 years before the Marvel Watcher, and that Marvel somehow just pulled a wanker on Charlton. At any rate, so I'd like to, hear what other people have to think about this. But obviously, to me, one more thing before I bid you adieu, is that this Charlton comic book, to me, is historically significant because of, the Watcher. This is the first Watcher story, and it's historically significant, and it's a key issue for that reason. So I would, if I were you, if you're a fan of the FF or Galactus, the Silver Surfer, and the Watcher, and so forth, I would try to seek out this issue as it is. Not that expensive. If you can find it, you can't always find this issue, but sometimes when it's available on eBay, it's worth the money. I think when I bought that, I paid something like I got it for $20 or somewhere around $20, and it's worth having. Believe me, it's worth having, because someday, when the truth comes out, that's going to go on my wall of historical absurdities. Anyway, all right. I'm still upset over all that stuff that was happening, with that massacre over there in Connecticut. It's hard to get over something like that. But at any rate, let me know what you think about what I just talked about, and maybe somebody else has an idea of what could have been going on there besides purloining. But I doubt very much as to that there could have been anything but purloining practices going on. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see everybody next time. Oh, wait a minute. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to give I got a list of people I wanted to shout out to. I'm not feeling too good. Getting kind of dizzy from all this medication. Holy crap, man. Where the heck do I have that? I know I wanted to give a shout out to Comic Guy Rules and some other people. I don't know where the heck it is now. What am I doing here? Well, I might have to do it next time. Oh wait, what's this? I got so much stuff on my desk. Maybe this is it. Oh yeah, Hero Hunter 81, Comic Guy Rules, Cougar Comics, Monster Model Builder, and Edward 2962. So if I can, I'll try to leave a link to their channels down there in the description box. But that's all I got for today, and I'll see you all guys next time. Take care.